Broncos country, Broncos country, welcome into the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Man, been a busy day. It's been a busy week. We're going to be talking to the 53-man roster. We're going to be talking Riley Moss. We're going to be talking Bo Nix. We're going to be talking the Vikings coming to town. We got to get to all of it. I'm set to go. Are you set to go? We're going to get started, I don't know, right about now. Welcome in, everybody, to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, man. I don't know, Jody, it's good to see you. I'm Keith Brugman, by the way. Anybody that's listening at home doesn't know or hasn't seen the face, or they might be a brand new listener, follower, subscriber. Who knows, man? Jody, who knows, man? It feels like one of those times a year where I had to bust out the notebook. I had to get my notes all ready for a show like this because we are on the cusp of a 53-man roster. We're on the cusp of a Vikings game around the corner. There's just so much to talk about. Can't wait to get to it. Thanks, Jody, so much. Welcome to the show. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. Ready for Sunday. Find out who makes the 53, and we got football next weekend. So college football, but it's here.
It's here. It's here, man. The white stripes out on that big old green grass field, end zones, field goal posts. It's what it's all about, Jody, man. We've gone long enough. It's time. It's here. It's right around the corner. Right around the corner, the Broncos are going to be playing on Friday. Let's hit what you wanted. One of the things that you wanted to talk about. Oh, before we get to that, man, we'll talk about starting quarterbacks and the like on the other side of this. But really quick, man, I just got to give a shout out to all our posse members, man. Today, we had a post go out that had over 35,000 views, 10,000 comments, and we picked up 50 new followers in just the last week. You guys are amazing. Appreciate y'all out there sharing the content that we have, the podcast that we're doing. You guys are absolutely amazing. It's nothing about us. It's all about you guys. And if you're like, well, I didn't share, how dare you? How dare you? You should be sharing. Get out there, share. No, I'm just kidding. Appreciate y'all so much. Jody, let's hit it, man. I just lost my notebook, but let's hit it, man. We were talking about starting quarterbacks and what's going to be happening this Friday.
Will Bo Nix play Friday? I think we kind of got our answer. It sounds like he will not play Friday, which I'm fine with. I think Sean Payton's seen everything he needed to see in those two drives, and I need him healthy for the start of this season. So the only reason for me to play him would be to get him and Davis Webb more time together. But other than that, I've seen enough in the two drives.
Yeah, and at some point you got to see enough of your own franchise quarterback. You don't need to be rolling them out there. Every quarterback hits that spot, in their career, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm going to hit the spot right now where we talk about some of our posse members coming in. Mr. Patrick came in first right there. Mr. Coffee himself, Mr. Patrick, Mr. Coffee Wiltsey, as he has it on his moniker there. Aloha, boys. Good to see you. Thanks, Patrick, man, for checking in. Clayton comes in over on Facebook. You know how Clayton rolls in. Hey, guys. Smash that like and share button. Couldn't say it better myself, man. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Clayton, so very much, man. I'm trying to get caught up on everything, but this rolls right in to what we were talking about. Oh, well, Phil's helping me out. Phil McLaughlin, as they call him, I believe, Tucson Phil in some neck of the woods. But Phil, appreciate you so dang much, man. Thanks for coming in here. Thanks for always being a fantastic supporter. He's talking about it right there. Drop on the 100 stars. But he has a question with his 100 stars, Jody. He says, "Good evening, Keith and Judge. Will we have 3 quarterbacks to start the season?" We just talked about, it sounds like Sean Payton says, I don't think he's going to play when it came to Bo Nix in his presser today. I don't think he's going to play either. That's going to leave plenty of time for Jarrett Stidham, plenty of time for Sam Ehlinger in this final preseason game. Do we roll with 3 into the regular season? Do we roll with 53 on the 53? That's what Phil's wanting to know. What do you say, Jody?
I don't think so, but I think it'll be very telling who starts this game. If Stidham starts this game, I think as long as he doesn't wet the bed, I think he's pretty much your number 2, especially with him getting 2 or 3 starts after last week's performance, especially.
Mm. I
And
oh, go ahead, man.
and then I guess then it's up to Sam Ehlinger what he thinks. I mean, he had offers last year to join 53s, and he turned them down to stay on this practice squad.
Hmm.
I heard some wild takes today that people think he's the next Davis Webb in waiting. So when Davis Webb is out, he can jump right in from player to coach, just like Davis Webb did. And who better to learn from than Sean Payton? So,
and Davis Webb maybe.
Davis Webb. So I'm not sure what to think there. Now, if Sam Ehlinger starts this game and goes out there and kills it, then I think we have a real discussion come tomorrow and early Friday, or come Saturday and early Sunday. Sorry,
Saturday, early Sunday. Oh boy, Sunday as the clock is ticking. Not a great place to be for a lot of these players. I like what Cortland Sutton said, though. He said, I think this roster is stacked so deep. I think that this team does have amazing players, enough that a lot of these guys are still going to get opportunities once the 53 get cut with other teams. And there was only like 30, 31 of them last year. Doesn't leave a whole lot to be spread around, but I think the Broncos get their share this year when it comes down to guys that are being picked up, and we wish them all the best, man. I'm wishing all the best to Clayton as well. He says, for flag football, my son's team is the Denver Broncos. Let's go. All right, buddy. Good. That's awesome, man. Nice pickup. Sean, Helltown Edmond, says, "What's up, Keith and Jody? I'm hyped for this game Friday and for the season, man. Good to see you, Sean. Been hanging out a couple podcasts now. I'd love to get your take on this 53-man roster." Michael Ronquillo coming in over on Facebook. He's dropping some stars, man. By the way, top star sender sent out a little bit of an appreciation post a little bit earlier, man, because Michael Ronquillo, as he always does, getting us taken care of, keeping us rolling down, I don't know, the trail? Yeah, maybe the dusty trail. No, Michael Ronquillo, I appreciate you guys so much, saying good evening, Keith and Jody and Go Broncos, blue and orange hearts, mile high salute. One to you and my friend as well. Ernie Mays as well, saying go Broncos country only. Think Broncos big, not 31 teams small. Hello, Keith and Jody. Good to see you, my friend. So we're going to skip all around. I did have some news right off the top. One of them was Bo Nix. We kind of got into a little bit of the 53 with talking about just 2 quarterbacks. But another one coming in from Michael Ronquillo, and he's also appreciative. He's telling me he has stars in there. I don't know if this is additional stars, but we got to hit this anyway, man. Safety Taylor Rapp, released by the Denver Broncos. I like the way you put that, Michael. It wasn't necessarily said this way, but for all intents and purposes, it sounds like it was for personal reasons, and the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, just want him back as soon as he possibly can. And it sounds like that feeling might be mutual. But he's got things, as Sean Payton said, quote unquote, going on at home. And so let him take care of his business. That'll be something that maybe we have to keep in mind, though, Jody, when we start putting together this 53-man roster. If we think that Taylor Rapp is going to sneak his way back on, and I don't know when that's going to happen and how you leave holes and how you're going to manipulate if that be the case. But hope everything is good with Taylor Rapp, his family, and that he can potentially come back and join us here very shortly. Just a couple more, man. I promise we'll get into the conversation. Michael's saying he thinks it's going to be Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham. And we have Adam and Kayla coming in saying, what's good, family? Let's go Broncos. Fantastic to see you, Adam and Kayla. Thank you so much, man. Been riding with us for multiple seasons. And we always appreciate you coming in here. My thought is, too, man, I think we roll with two quarterbacks just to finish up on that. I think the jury is still out 100% on who that second quarterback could be. I think Sam Ehlinger could still go out there and take it. Another thing that we just need to keep in mind is how much more salary cap room they could potentially get if they let go. It's Jarrett Stidham. I don't know if they could. Maybe they could flip him for a late round pick, in a pinch. But I don't know. That would be maybe optimistic. Either way, man. I think that we roll with two, and I think it's up in the air on who that second one's going to be. By the way, YouTube, Slim E Bronco. Denver Broncos for life. That's a new name over on YouTube. Good to see you. How you doing today? Good to see you. And how are you doing today? We're doing fantastic, man. We're talking Broncos football, man. Where are we going next, Jody? Where do you want to pick up, man? I jumped right into it. I took over the mic. I'm going to let you talk for a minute, man.
I'll just throw this one out. We kind of mentioned it in the chat. We don't have to talk about it too long, but the NFL announced today they're doing away with the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
I'll throw that out real quick. I mean, the game's been, I don't know when the last when was the last time you watched the Pro Bowl. Someone asked that today, and I couldn't tell you when the last time I watched the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Tim Tebow might have been eligible to play for me. That's about how long ago I think it might have been since the last time I watched the Pro Bowl. So, it's been a long time. I'll be honest. This kind of hit me about a year ago when this was, or maybe when it was the last Pro Bowl. I'm like, why don't they? And it sounds like this is kind of what they're going to do, but why don't they just like mimic the ESPYs? You know what I mean? It's like a big black tie event, huge stage, come up there, jokes, some music maybe going on, like making it an event, because nobody's showing up to play no matter how much you bonus them out. I mean, you could tell them they're going to all get $5 million for playing the game. They're still going to protect themselves. They're still not going to play hard. It's not going to be like the days of old where they just take each other's heads off at times. Just not going back to that. And it's not great football, So, and we've gotten so far away from that now. So, anyway, I agree, man. That's my opinion on it, man. I'm kind of happy that it's not what it is. It's not going to be continued.
Yeah, I think the last one I watched is when Jeff Saturday was a Packer and switched over and snapped the ball for the AFC to Peyton. I think that was probably the last one.
Fair.
Other than that, I couldn't even tell you the last one that I was even excited for or cared about.
Yep. So hopefully the new rendition, what they bring to the table, will be something exciting, something that we'll be all tuned into, and we'll be able to get to see our stars. Because that's the other thing, is that it's like, oh, well, this guy declined, so we went to this guy, and then he declined, so we went to this guy, and then, next thing you know, Deshaun Watson's your starting quarterback, and in the Pro Bowl, it's gotten out of control. All right, man, let's get back to the comments real quick. We got back to this 53-man roster. Oh, It's Biggie Bronco. I'm sorry. Now he's Slimmy Broncos, Denver Broncos for life. How about that? I like the play on that. Jay Weaver, our good friend over at the Orange and Blue Network, give them a shout, give them a watch, give them a like, a share, a subscribe as well, saying good evening, gentlemen. We appreciate you, Jay. Good to see you. Last one I watched was here live here in Hawaii, says Mr. Patrick Wiltsey. And Michael Ronquillo, he was talking about how he heard that Taylor Rapp is going to be back on the practice squad potentially in the future, and he's a vested veteran, so he doesn't have to pass a waiver wire. Yeah, that's kind of the cool thing. He's not going to have to go through that process and be open to anybody. He can just go out there and sign with the team he wishes. So good impressions, it sounds like, all the way around when he came to visit with the Denver Broncos, and the opportunity, the door will be open for him. Let's get into it, man. We got just the quarterback, man, but where do you want to go next, man? What position group you want to hit? Because we got a lot of them. We got like a limited hour show. Want to get to as much as possible, or we'll get to all of it, but don't want to short any of it.
I think we agreed mostly all the way around. There was a couple. Wide receiver, I guess.
Let's hit wide receiver, man.
We can throw one name out, Little Jordan Humphreys. I think that was our bubble guy.
Yeah. So just really quick, Sutton, Waddle, Bryant, Mims, Franklin. Those are our 5 locks. I think we're all in agreement on that. Those are the guys that we expect to make the roster.
Yeah. Do you think Franklin will be traded? Potentially?
Oh, man. The one thing you do got to watch the landscape of the NFL, and there's been some major injuries all the way around. There's some teams already hurting when it comes to the wide receiver position before the season has even started.
Yeah, Giants just lost Calvin Austin.
Yeah. Houston Texans lost.
They did, and they traded for. I'll have to look. They traded for a wide receiver, and I don't remember who it was now.
Yeah, but it's going to start getting scarce. I mean, Cincinnati Bengal fans like holding their breath as Jamar Chase lands awkwardly. You know what I mean? It's like, we're going to see. We got one more game to be played for all teams this weekend, and if something happens there or in the next couple of weeks, boy, you are awfully loaded. It'd be interesting to see what they would offer, who's coming to the table and what they're looking for. I'm not like letting the phone just ring and not picking it up, Jody, on just about anybody, but it's crazy. So we got our 5. Franklin is questionable whether I guess you could trade him. I hate to say it. Hey, I don't hate to say it. TW's in here as well saying it. It's another option. Mims should be shopped around.
I'm not shopping him just because of his value on special teams, if nothing else.
Yeah, but you got some guys like Cameron Ross that are kind of hanging out on the roster, or Colby Katzis and stuff like that. That got some opportunities. You could flex up into that role. I mean,
but they don't have AP1 next to their name like Mims.
No All Pro, not yet. Not yet, Jody. You never know. I mean, the thing is that we invested a lot for just to get a special teamer out of him, and he could be worth a lot to another team to give him the opportunity to really go out there and be a number 1 or a number 2 on another team. I'll just put it that way. You know what I mean?
And I will say, whatever anyone thinks can he run elite routes or whatever, go back to the playoff game when you had 3 of your wide receivers out and he just makes plays. He catches the ball. He doesn't drop the ball. So I'll take that guy on my roster any day.
Yeah.
And I want to see how they use. I mean, go back to the second half of BO NIX rookie year, how they used him. I expect some big plays like that. Waddle, intermediate, can open the field. I mean, he's gonna play a role on this team this year. I think it's gonna be a lot bigger than last year. So I and, and I know Sean Payton thinks this way too. They're in Super Bowl win now mode, so if they have to take a little bit less for that shot at that ring, I think he's willing to sacrifice that. So
TW is all about Cameron Ross. You know, that's Cortland Sutton came out. He said he really liked. He goes, I know this is a bunch of like undrafted guys. You know, a bunch of like kind of. He didn't say this, but basically no name type of guys. But he's like, I really feel like we have a fantastic room. You know, you do have the Cameron Rosses, and you do have the Kobe Katzises. You know what I mean? The guy that you mentioned, little Jordan Humphrey. You know what I mean? If he's on the outside, if he's exposed to the practice squad, I don't know if the Giants just don't pick him up one more time. You know, they're in a position. A lot of teams will be in position. He once again showed pretty good in this last couple of preseason games as being one of those options. So little Jordan Humphreys would be the big question mark as we kind of go down the stretch here. Let's hit tight end, man. I think we were in agreement with this one. Evan Ingram, Troutman, Jolly, and Nate Atkins all make it. That's the 4 tight ends I have. But who's sitting on the outside if that happens to be the case, my friend?
yeah, that was the 4 I had. Well, I originally had down Bentley, but what he's done this or what he hasn't done this preseason, I think makes it where you can get him on the practice squad. Camp Darling, Lucas Kroll has done nothing, and I think he just outright gets cut, and this will be it for him in Denver. And then Caleb Lohner, he probably makes it back on the practice squad, but the fact that he's hurt and hadn't shown anything, he may just outright get cut as well, and they may cut their losses with that as well. So I think we're in agreement on this one as well. So
yeah, through and through. I mean, Bentley you can expose. You know, Lucas Kroll, it seems like we've been talking about that name for as long as time, and Caleb Lohner as well. Just a guy that, take a chance on. But, I mean, even Sean Payton, when he was at the mic today, he was talking about, your scouting tape of whatever you've seen from other players on other teams. That's your job. I don't know if Caleb Lohner has went out there and put any tape out there that says I need to go out there and steal him from the Broncos practice squad and be first in the waiver in order to do so. I just don't think so. You know what I mean? So that being said, I think those are the 3 easy ones to leave exposed, and the 4 that we have. The one question I had before I even started doing this was Nate Atkins. It's just like how many more years do you keep bringing back Nate Atkins though as well? I know that he shows up from time to time. I know that he has those plays. He tends to be reliable. He doubles as a fullback if you need him and all that great stuff. You know what I mean? But it just seems like Adam Prentice is kind of handling that role, and you've got tight ends that can be tight ends. I don't know. He just feels like a weird guy in a weird position on a roster to me.
When you're Sean Payton's boy, you once you get on that good side, it's hard to get rid of you. I mean, look at little Jordan Humphreys. I mean,
look at Michael Bandy.
We literally cut the guy. He went to another team, got released. We picked him right back up, and he's back again. So him and Troutman.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say whatever about Sean Payton as a person, but he's probably loyal to a fault to people. So.
Oh, yeah. And not saying that we should get rid of Will Lutz, but I mean, I can't imagine when the parting is ever going to happen between Sean Payton and Will Lutz.
I was thinking that the other day. Of all the Saints, when we were making fun the Denver Saints or the New Orleans Broncos and all that, there hasn't been one Saints guy or coach that's came over that I've just even Joe Lombardi I wasn't high on, but he wasn't calling plays, so it didn't really matter. But there hasn't been one that I've just been like, oh, that was just a horrible bring over. I mean, even Troutman's just whatever. He you
He's
could do a
solid at
lot.
what he
You
does.
could do a
Yeah.
lot worse. So
Yep. Certainly do a lot worse. We could certainly do a lot worse than ignoring all our posse members coming in here with comments. I got to get back to it, my friend. TW saying even Ryan Harris said that Cameron Ross has got a chance with the ones in practice. Wonder what that means. So, I think this is the time of year when they're trying to figure it all out. Michael Ronquillo making sure that we don't leave out names. What about Joseph No Gloves Manjack? I mean, the guy had an amazing preseason game one. Could this guy figure out a way? Or maybe this is as they were talking about, and Sean was talking about, and he was asked about. Sometimes you're trying to stash guys, and he's like, absolutely, that happens. What we saw in game one with Manjack, you would love to have this guy on your practice squad, right? You
yeah,
don't even basically let him sniff the field or even get a target in game two. Maybe you do the same thing in game three, and you're like, you know what? We're trying to hide this guy just a little bit, and we don't need any more tape on a guy like him.
yeah, I agree. I don't think he makes the 53, but he wouldn't. He might fit that Michael Bandy role now that Bandy's been hurt all
Ooh.
preseason. Be interesting to see what Denver does with him.
Will be interesting. And TW says Loner shouldn't be on the team, and thinks our tight end room is stinky. Joseph No Gloves Manjack. See him make the 53. We just got done talking about that a little bit. Sean, appreciate you coming in. Little Jordan is overrated by our fan base, says TW. Wednesday
Overhated.
overhated.
I
Overhated by our fan base. Yeah, I like
I
that.
agree with
That's
that.
better.
I mean, just look what he did. I mean, you can
Down the
probably
stretch,
a
went
lot
out.
of people forget the drop touchdown on the first drive of the Buffalo game, but when everyone else was hurt, I mean, he caught a touchdown before half. He was out there not subbing in at all because all your wide receivers were hurt. So
And
again, you could probably do a lot worse at wide receiver than little Jordan Humphries. So
and he's that willing blocker, man. That's just what I was trying to. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's what I
yep,
couldn't not talk about, man. Willing blocker on top of everything that he does for the team. So yeah, little Jordan
he's
Humphrey
one.
overhated. I like
He,
that, man.
he's one that I think falls right. Him and Sam Ellinger, I think, are going to be the same. If they don't make it, it's we're going to stash you on the 53, and little Jordan Humphries will dress game one, and they'll bring him up 2, 3 games, and then decide after that. If he doesn't solidly make it for another guy that they just don't think they can stash, that's what they'll do with him because he's a vested vet and he can do whatever he wants. So
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that sitting on the practice squad, there's only a few positions that scare me. You know what I mean? That really scare me. And when you start talking about wide receivers and the atrophy that we've already seen through this preseason and training camp, and then quarterback, everyone's looking for a great option at quarterback. You know what I mean? For their
yeah,
backup. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was just last year everyone was sniffing around Jarrett Stidham. Like he was I don't know, the female dog in heat wandering the block. And everyone was about Jarrett Stidham about this time of year. So Michael Ronquillo talks about this as well, man. Sean Payton talked about former Broncos linebacker Todd Davis when the Broncos stole him away from the New Orleans Saints after he was cut by them. Yeah, I thought that was a great way to talk about this, what's going on this time of year. Sean relating it to the Denver Broncos and had a real life example of just exposing a guy to the practice squad and and ta- and Michael, I'm sure you're referring to this. He said that John Elway gave him a call and said, "You're trying to hide him." He's like, "What are you trying to talk about? I'm trying to hide him. You signed him." So and off Todd Davis went to the Denver Broncos and rode off in somewhat of a lore for who we are and the years that he played here, man. Last one, Rodney
Coach
Garcia
Todd
saying,
Davis now.
Coach Todd Davis, where's he coaching? Oh yeah,
I
he's
think he's with the
with us.
Broncos.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Rodney coming in. Good evening, Keith and Jody. Hope all is well. Always better when Rodney Garcia is here. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, man. We're almost done with the offense, man. Almost made it through the list.
Which is
I got run the ball at the top, by the way, but I'm just kidding.
which is something that I don't think a lot of people take into consideration when you make this 53.
Mm,
You can cut a little Jordan Humphreys and know you're going to get him back because you've made that deal with him. We're bringing you right back. You're going on the
mm.
squad, practice squad. We're going to bring you right back up.
Yep.
But we can't risk cutting, say, Red Murdoch because someone else will pick him up.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, you got to look at little things like that. So,
Yep, especially like you were saying. I mean, little Jordan Humphreys is the type of guy that you typically, regardless, has been running out there week one and getting snaps. Even though he might not have been on the original 53, he gets in there. He's elevated from the practice squad. We bring somebody down that we need to save. It's not like you're going to expose all your draft picks, even though they're not maybe hitting the field right away. So it's the gymnastics of playing this time of year when you got to go from 90 to 53, man.
right.
Um, Man, I can't believe we made it through the offense already. I think this is the perfect opportunity, though. We only have
You
how
missed O
many players?
line, and we could.
Oh my goodness!
I think
I
there's
mean,
one. I think we
let's
agreed
go
on O
O
line
line.
again. I had one kind of question mark, but the way they've been
Yeah,
playing him, Matt Parrott. I mean, he was the first guy up when Powers went down last year.
yeah.
I thought he might be your backup left tackle, but he was playing inside, Crumb outside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other than that, I think maybe Calvin, maybe Throckmorton, depending on how this Forsyth injury is. I'd like to know where that's where he's at. Is it just is he going to be ready week one? I mean, that might play into it.
Okay, well, we got to run through this list because I don't know if we have the exact same guys. I think we have the exact same number. I don't know if we have the exact same guys. Let's make the obvious ones. Garrett Bowles is our starting left tackle. Ben Powers at guard. Wattenberg at center. Miners at guard. McGlinchey at tackle. That's our starting five. Come on, be healthy. Stay
Yep.
in there. Let's go from there. Um, from
Alex
there,
Pacheski.
I've got Palczewski. Yep.
I have Cage Casey.
All right. Perfect.
I have Alex Forsyth.
Correct.
And I say that if he's healthy, if he's really hurt and they can't, that was one where if he really can't go, I could see Throckmorton making this 53 because you got to have a backup center.
Yep. Okay. So, but for right
So
now, Alex Forsyth is on.
so that's 8, and then I had Frank Crum as 9,
Okay. That's where we differ. That's where we differ.
and he's probably in the
I
same boat now as Forsyth because he has not practiced all week, and it sounds like he hasn't even been. No one's even seen him on the field all week. So
yeah.
I don't know what his injury is. And the only reason I have him is he was the sixth lineman down the stretch last year,
I
even
know.
when Ben Powers came back. Forsyth didn't go back to that sixth lineman. They stuck with Crum.
Yeah.
But if he's hurt again, or depending on how bad he is, I could see I'd flip him with Matt Parrott. I they've invested too much to just get rid of him. I think they've kept him around this long. That's why I still have him making it.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. For me, the Frank Crum, Calvin Throckmorton, what Calvin Throckmorton did at center, he has obviously some ability to move around, though it's more interior offensive lineman. I'm not expecting him to play tackle. And then just Frank Crum, whether it be his injury or the way he's been playing so far this preseason. It's just a guy that I think that you can maybe expose, and let him ride out there on the practice squad, and hopefully keep him as a part of this team. I would just hate for Calvin Throckmorton to be gone, and then all of a sudden Luke Wattenberg has a step backwards, because then now you're like, oh, I don't know, Gavin Ortega, are you still out there? We're on the phone again.
We've seen it last year in the playoffs. You were down to Sam Mustipher.
Nobody.
Sam Mustipher in overtime.
Wow, isn't that
I will say this:
nice,
if you
nice
do get rid of Frank Crum, who is your backup left tackle? I don't think Alex Pacheski is a left tackle. So if you get rid of Frank Crum, what's your plan? If you get rid of Frank Crum, you, in my opinion, have to keep Matt Parrott.
Yeah, you're right, man. Maybe I have a
so
hole
I
in
don't.
my roster.
That would be my only thing, and it might be a hole that Denver. And they just went and signed a lineman. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't dig that much. Is he a tackle, guard? I don't know.
Tackle.
I don't know what that
Tackle, he does play
says. I don't know what that says about the Crum injury. I'd like to know how bad that is. The fact that we haven't seen him even on the side field or anything, it's probably not a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Offensive line could get a little bit messy, man. You brought up some good points. My thought is I really don't think that Frank Crum gets snatched up by anybody, and he's your kind of like your little Jordan Humphreys that you're expecting to, have that possibility to bring back onto your 53 if needed. But I just don't want to expose any of these other guys where I think it's a necessity. But maybe I need to think about it a little bit differently. So
I think Matt Parrott, though, I think you could. He's a vested vet, so I think you could say, "Hey, we're going to stash you on the practice squad, maybe pay you a little more in case something happens." Because I'm good with all our back outs. You got a good backup at right tackle. You got a good backup at guard. Forsyth, I think, is a decent backup at center. I just don't know what happens if Garrett Bowles goes down. Do you like Frank Crum there? I don't know. I don't know how people feel about that. That's the one position of all our backups that if Bowles goes down, how do you feel about Frank Crum as your starting left tackle?
You bite your lip, man, or knock on some wood over there. Something, man. I got to get to the comments, though, man. I'm going to hit Michael Ronquillos here in a second when we get over to the defense. He has a hot take already on the defense. Rodney Garcia, I think we were talking about this. What about Matt Parrott? Where would you have him over Crum?
Well, I thought maybe, but if you watch last week's game, Parrott was playing left guard and Crum was playing left tackle. So, I mean, if you really thought Parrott was going to be your backup left tackle, I think you would play him at left tackle. But
TW thinks that I get this one right. What are our thoughts on Palcho? We kind of went over the offensive line and Palczewski as well, but he thinks, or they think, I don't know. TW? I don't know. How should I address you? But they think our fan base overrates him a lot. This is a few people asked this question. I'll just ask it through Phil, and I don't know where your thoughts are on this, or if you know what's going on here. Will Gargiulo, will he be on the practice squad? I know that he's been injured.
Well, I think he's still. Yeah, he's still coming back from the ACL. So
yeah.
Or I think it was ACL.
We have to make a decision at all, right?
No, I don't think you do. Don't. I would just like to know where he is in the process. I mean, that was around this time last year because I think it happened the last game of the preseason. So you're a year into it, and he hadn't even sniffed the field. So I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I know different players heal differently, but look at Pat Mahomes. I mean, he shredded his knee, and he's been on the field for probably a couple months. So I don't know. I don't know where he's at with that. So
You know, you like flexibility in players. Michael Ronquillo is just reminding us that Frank Crum was the receiver of a touchdown in the AFC Championship division round, or the AFC division round against the Buffalo Bills. So part tackle, part receiver. You know, no, but in all seriousness, though, I mean, obviously a big part of this team and well thought of. Big decisions moving forward. I know that we're all not going to agree on every single roster spot. We'll find out though soon enough, and hope for the best of those who are parted with. TW, we can, we still can snatch up some guys that are going to be cut soon. That's also the case, man. When all of this comes around, and
I heard someone else bring that up the other day,
yeah,
and just keep in mind, they said I think this is going 3 years now of Peyton. They've snatched up 2 guys from other practice squads. It's been all their own. For what that's worth, he doesn't go and just snatch up a bunch of different guys.
yeah, and I think it doesn't surprise me because it seems like Sean Payton every single year is so worried about the guys that are going to be leaving this team and them doing fantastic for somebody else. He's always pressing about that. About we don't want it. We want to get the right 53. You know what I mean, and feel good about the guys that we kept, because, like you said, there's nothing worse than seeing a guy go someplace else and be amazing, and you had him in your building at one point. Man, at one point, I talked about our sponsor. Now is the time. We got through the offensive all together, man. So Morgan Trinkets has been our sponsor for a long time, and they've been a long time out there. We're talking 35 years doing Southwest jewelry, Southwest pottery, and estate gold at wholesale prices. They also have silver. They've been doing shows all over Colorado. You need to look them up. They were up there in Greeley. They were out there at Cheyenne Frontier Days. They're been an amazing sponsor. We appreciate Pearl so dang much. We appreciate Morgan Trinkets so dang much. Check them out. I'm sure they got a show in your area, Northern Colorado, Southern Wyoming. They'd love to wrap up the summer season. I'm sure there's a great one out there. I said I was going to find out about her next show, but I lied. I lied to you all. I promise I'll quit lying. I put it on my I don't know, my New Year's resolution list or something like that. All right, brother, we got to get into the defense. I know this is like probably not where we would have started. But Michael Ronquillo came in here with one that I thought was kind of funny. So we're going to start with linebacker. Michael Ronquillo comes in here and he says, linebacker Drew Sanders' experience with the Broncos is officially going to end. Man, I don't know where you're at on your linebackers, if we want to run through the list. But I would say that
I'm in agreement with Michael Ronquillo.
I'm in agreement with Michael Ronquillo as well, man. I don't know if we list him as an edge rusher or a linebacker. I had him listed on the edge list and guys that were going to be left out when it came to edge. You could put him as a linebacker if you want.
List him as hurt.
List him as, yeah. List him as hurt is right, man. Do you want to? Which list do you have Drew Sanders in? Linebacker or edge?
Well, I think I originally had him at inside, and I think I originally had him making the 53, but I don't. Okay. I don't now.
Okay. Well, let's talk about inside linebacker then. Let's hit that list, and we're going to include Drew Sanders.
Before we go into that, I just wanted to just Drew Sanders a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I get a little frustrated with Sean Payton. I mean, this guy hasn't practiced in 2 weeks, and he won't tell you what's wrong with him. I mean, this is a guy that everyone had high hopes for. What is the injury? I mean, they activated him for the playoffs. He was practiced all week for the playoffs, and then we don't dress him.
Yeah.
And then now he can't get on the field again. What is the is he really hurt, or is this, I don't know. But whatever it is, I think it's time to move on. And it sucks because I think he had a lot of potential, but availability is, or what are they? However it goes, availability is the best availability or whatever,
Yep.
and he just has not been healthy. So
Yeah, man. All the high hopes, man. I mean, I think at one point every single person in Broncos country it felt like was behind Drew Sanders and was excited to see what he was going to bring to the table and bring to the field. But we can't get him to the field, and that's been the disappointment. And on top of it, I'd almost like say the not the experience, but the experiment, because we've also had him all over the place. He's never healthy. It's like an experiment gone wrong. I see Glenn Ashley in here chatting it up. Glenn, good to see you, my friend. He's talking a little bit about the Vikings game, which we're going to wrap up with. So, Glenn, I promise we'll get back to your comment near the end of the show if you don't mind hanging out.
can
And
I add one other thing on Drew
yeah,
Sanders? And
yeah,
this goes, and I really bring this up because of Jade Barron. I hate how they started him outside, inside,
mm-hmm,
whatever. He kept bouncing back and forth. When you don't have when you have two or three positions, you have no position, in my opinion, and that's why I really hope that I'm fine with how they use Barron now, but don't, if you're gonna use him outside and that type of thing, then use him outside, but don't bounce him inside. Don't bounce him outside. Don't do that. I don't like that. So that is one that's I think that can really mess a guy up. So
I agree. It's one point I really loved boxing as well. It's like changing weight classes. You can't be like all over the map and changing weight classes and expect to be able to go up against the best competition. Um, you just got to be able to stay in your lane, and yeah, you can flex down and you can flex up and you can be competitive within the division, but not go up against the top guy
right.
typically. And if you're all over the board, so inside linebacker Singleton, Sternad, Kareen Reed, and Mr. Irrelevant, Red Murdoch. That's our four guys making it an inside linebacker. That's going to leave Drew Sanders, Jordan Turner, and a guy that was talked about a lot, Tareen York. Um, whether it be the beat writers or whether it be Sean Payton, Tareen York has gotten his due during practice or during training camp.
And I think he'll make the practice squad, and I think he will at some point get called up.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
of the
agree.
four we kept, the battle for me is who is your number three linebacker? Is it Reed or is it Murdoch? I mean, I've liked what I've seen from Murdoch. He's led the Broncos in tackles, but I also like what I've seen from Reed. I mean, he made that incredible deflection when Johnny Perrin got the pick six. So I think that's a battle. Who is your number three?
Well, my answer, I think it's Red Murdoch because he's been wearing the green dot. I think that when you bring that to the table, on top of it, all the learning that he's been doing, it's great that that Karini Reed has went out there and he's made an impact, and I think he's been fantastic. But if you're really trying to figure it out, I think you got to defer to that green dot, man. I think that's where we need to be.
And I
It's,
will say this: I
but I don't
forgot
I
that.
don't think that's like a knock on Karini Reed at all.
No, and I forgot that he was even wearing it. But that's pretty high praise for Mister Irrelevant to be wearing the green dot.
Yeah,
I mean, because you're one step toe away from him calling calling the defense.
yeah. And Paul Shatter, by the way, coming in, checking in over on YouTube. He says Reed looks better than Red, and I agree. I agree, but there's got to be all things got to be brought in to deciding. All factors have to be considered. That's what I was looking for. Rodney thinks it's going to be Red, so it is like one of those things. That's a great question, man. Who's our third linebacker, man? Great question. Hope Murdoch strips the ball on Friday, says Rodney Garcia.
And I'll have to watch because I haven't really paid attention. I know Reed is the core special teams guy. I haven't paid attention to what Murdoch's does on special teams, but that's probably one of the big reasons why I have Reed making this roster is because of special teams.
That you know, a lot of I know that I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but that's one place I'm a little bit concerned about is just special teams and how well we're going to perform there. I digress, though, man. We got to get to the entire defense. We got about 20 minutes left in the program. Want to get to all of it. We'll go overtime if necessary. But defensive line, man. Let's just go right back to the heart and soul of the defense. What's happening in the trenches, man? Zach Allen's, DJ Jones, Malcolm Roach, Awazarike, Tyler Onyedem.
Can I interrupt you? You said
Yeah,
Roach before Odienum. Is that who you predict starts, Roach?
yeah. I would still say
Or
Roach
does it really
starts.
even? I mean, someone said this the other day, and I probably agree with it. Does it really even matter? I mean, they're going to rotate in so much.
They're
Does it
gonna
really?
rotate.
I mean, Roach was getting more snaps than John Franklin Myers, anyways. So does it really matter?
Yeah, exactly. I think you're really talking about just a rotation with that defensive front. We've seen it from Vance Joseph now. He's not shy about rotating these guys in and out. It's not just three guys. It's a constant rotation. But yeah, yeah. So I left off with Tyler Onyedem. I have Savion Jones in there, and I have Jordan Jackson in there, and I don't know if we're the same on those two guys, because those are the guys at the bottom of the list. That leaves Jordan Miller, Christian Williams on the outside, pretty full room, and 9 guys in the on the defensive line, pretty full, yeah, pretty full room. Anyway, Jody, your thoughts?
I didn't have Jordan Jackson, but when I finally did my 53, I was a man short. So he probably is. He probably is the 53rd guy that makes it.
There you go.
I will throw out one thing. I have heard rumblings and some different things. Does Savion Jones just outright get cut? I mean,
Whew.
he barely. I think he dressed like 2 games last year. Couldn't even dress for game day last year. And what has he done this preseason? I mean, people. I know
He's gotten
before.
bullied. That's what he's done.
I
He's
know
gotten
before
bullied.
camp started, there were a lot of people that said that's who's going to start this year,
Mm-hmm.
and probably me included. And we've been that's as furthest from the truth as can be. I
We've
mean,
been sorely disappointed. Just put it out there,
he
man.
he's a distant fourth in the depth chart behind Roach, Odietum, or sorry, Roach, yeah, Odietum and Wazarike. So I don't know. I think I'll say he makes it, but if he gets the chop or gets cut, I'm not going to at all be surprised.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you need to make football decisions, and as much as you can say we invested this much, and this is where we took this guy, and we've got some great coaching into him, and we think there's potential. At some point, you need to figure it all out, man. You need to figure out your best 53, and maybe that just doesn't include a guy like Savion Jones, and that makes that whole offensive line situation maybe a little bit different for you. You know what I mean? You
Let me
move on
ask
from
you in the
him, and
chat.
then all of a sudden you have all the tackles and guards you want on offensive line.
Let me ask you in the chat a question. If it comes down to Little Jordan Humphreys or Savion Jones, who are you keeping and who are you cutting?
Boy, this is well, boy, that's a great question, man. Because I can't sit there and say that either one of these rooms. It's not. You can't sit there and say, well, the defensive line is so weak. You know what I mean? We don't have any depth there. I feel good about our defensive line and the depth and rotation, even if Savion Jones wasn't a part of
And,
that.
and I'll say one thing too, and I didn't think about this. I didn't have Jordan Jackson making it originally, but
Mm-hmm.
he's made it the last 2 years.
I
And
know.
I think someone said last year, Sean Payton said it wasn't even close. He easily made the 53. So I I don't know. That's where I'm. Savion Jones is probably your seventh. If you keep him, he's your seventh defensive line. Are you keeping seven defensive linemen or six wide receivers?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably say since he didn't dress at all last year, he's not a. I haven't paid that close of attention. He's not a core special teams guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I am pretty sure that little Jordan Humphreys pitched special teams. So
Yeah,
for
I
what that's
agree.
worth, I don't know how you in the chat feel, but I think I'm leaning. Well, I'm not even leaning. I would go little Jordan Humphreys.
Yeah. I I would have to say so as well, man. I just the impact, you know what I mean? You know what you're going to get, you know you can call up little Jordan whenever you need him. And he comes in there and performs and snags balls and makes catches and can be reliable and blocks for you, and if you call up Savion Jones, what is your expectations? I don't have expectations at this point. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I'd have to lean that way if that's my choice. Paul's in. I think Tyler Onyedem looks better than Savion. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there as well, Paul. And then I got Michael Ronquillo. Man, Vance Joseph, Sean Payton. They Sean came out and talked about how hard he's coaching this team right now, and that they deserve it, and they know that. And Vance Joseph called his team lazy against the Packers. And a lot of motivation in this loss that we just had in this preseason 2 game. We'll be talking about preseason 3 to wrap it up. If we can get through this all really quickly as well.
I
So
never really thought that until you go back and watch some plays, and this is the last guy I think is lazy or anything, but Pat Surtain looked like he played lazy in that game, just the way he covered some guys. He did have that one. The
thank you.
tackle, the missed tackle was bad.
Yep.
I mean that if he just makes that tackle, they don't score a touchdown there.
You know what I saw? I saw the Packers pick on the I believe really the number one corners that were out there at the time that they were out there. They picked all over Pat Sertan. He had 4 receptions against him. I mean, you can talk about how great that hit was against Watson, and how the pads popped and everyone could hear it through the entire stadium. Fantastic, great. But he had 4 receptions, and they were targeting Pat Sertan, and they were getting completions against Pat Sertan, and then Chris Abrams drained.
Does it
He,
bug you when you? I mean, Pat Surtain's earned it, so
mm-hmm.
he probably gets a pass. But does it bug you when you see a big hit on a guy 8-10 yards down the field, and the other guy pops right back up? It's like you didn't cover him, and you made a decent hit, and cool.
You want the applause? Yeah,
Right.
exactly. No, agreed, man. That's kind of where I was at, man. They were pulling some underneath the routes that made those corners run, and they were getting exposed in that way. Now
And VJ said
this
that.
is a
Oh, go
very
ahead.
basic defense, but at the same time, you're going to be caught in that sometimes, and you need to have better coverage.
So VJ said this, and I've heard this from a few other people. No team in NFL history has had 60 plus sacks 3 years in a row.
Mm.
Teams are not going to just sit back and let Denver blitz them and just stand in the pocket. You've seen a lot of, if you watch Jordan Love, there was a lot of, he rolled out a few times, and there was a lot of misdirections and crossers. And I probably 3 or 4 times that little crosser to the running back out of the backfield, that was wide open for 4, 5, 6 yards. So
Mm-hmm.
Vance Joseph knows it. Denver's aware of it. So that's something they've got 2.5 weeks basically to get that fixed. So
Yeah, and I think part of it is just, again, you're not showing everything. You're kind of a little bit more in vanilla. You'll probably be playing it just a little bit different, but you're not going to let all the cats out of the bag. It'll be interesting. But like I said, sometimes you're going to be caught in those situations where you're just in a base defense. You didn't see it coming. You're going to have to run and cover with those guys. Would have liked to seen better from both KAD as well as Pat Sertan, man. And we got to call guys out when we see it, man. I'm glad that you said that, man, because I felt like I was the crazy guy Everyone's all the reports was PS2 had a fantastic game. PS2 had a I'm like he didn't have a fantastic game. I understand the effort in an almost stripped ball. They Riley Moss is now has an injury after he gathered up that ball, but that was so close. But that was bad coverage and making up for it by trying to get that fumble. And then so you got that play, and then you got a hit out of bounds after it. I believe it was already a first down. So what are we talking about here? Anyway, we got to get through this. Edge rusher,
Those
man.
didn't bug me. It was the missed tackle. The missed
Yeah.
tackle was the one that, if he just makes that tackle, he's only scored 3 points there, or attempted field goal.
Yeah. Rodney's in here kind of agreeing with us. He thinks the PS2 struggles with some of those crossers. Edge rusher, Bonito Cooper, Jonah Ellis, Q Robinson, DeAndre Tillman. That's where I have us lined out, keeping 5 of those guys. And I think the biggest question mark, and they talked about it in the presser, what's going to happen with Jonathan Cooper. And that's the only maybe saving grace for a guy like Drew Sanders potentially. But if he's not healthy, I don't know if that's a saving grace for Drew Sanders. Anyway, it's one place that we may have a hole at least some point in the
Well, they
near
just
future on a roster.
What's the linebacker they just signed?
Ron Stone Jr. Yeah.
So they
yeah.
just signed Ron Stone Jr., and I think that's pretty telling. I can't see where he doesn't at least get 6. I mean, James Pierce just got 8 games.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's going to be lined out for something. We'll find out. It is a really weird scenario. Everybody will just keep on top of this until things are settled, like kind of in the court system. A lot of times the NFL can't move on a whole lot. That's why this has been dragging out. That's why we already heard information on guys like James Pierce Jr., but we haven't heard anything on Jonathan Cooper. I mean, just from a football perspective, I want to put everything else to the side, and I know that's a lot to put to the side, though. He's looked good this preseason, man. So whenever we get him back, maybe that's that late season push that we need with a return of a Jonathan Cooper to the lineup. But all that will be in question. It certainly keeps the edge rushing room kind of in question, and I think you're right. Ron Stone Jr. might be that that guy that's out there on the practice squad that we can easily bring back up. I think we're on to cornerback and safety if that's our last 2, man. So cornerback, I got it. This is my other little timeout real quick, okay? This is where our big post that went like super viral, over 35,000, 10,000 comments came in. The Green Bay Packers have been sniffing around Riley Moss and seeing if he's available, if they could possibly trade for Riley Moss, as the Packers are trying to square up their secondary before they start their season. One of the few holes that they have on their roster is in that secondary. So Riley Moss, I guess what they saw, not just probably in that one preseason game, but what they've seen over the years, they're impressed with. Impressed enough that it sounds like, now this is all just kind of hearsay, potentially a 3rd round pick and maybe a kicker of a later round pick as well, 6th or 7th would be my guess, is what they're offering up in order to get Riley Moss onto the roster. The one thing that we got to keep in mind, Broncos country, it's not just about, hey, we only think that's what Riley Moss is worth. It's what's around the corner. Can we sign up all the guys we want, including Riley Moss, who's on the last year of his contract this year? Are we going to sign him next year? Do you get something for him now, or do you end up just letting him walk at the end of the year because you can't afford him? This is the situation that we're in, and it's the only reason it's a question. But since we're talking cornerbacks, I did need to bring that up, my
friend. For me, that's a no. If you're on the train of trading him, which I'm not, I need a minimum of a two and something.
2 and a kicker?
2 and a kicker. But I think I'm in agreement, or from a couple other people I've listened to, Sean Payton knows that they're in Super Bowl win now mode, and if keeping Riley Moss and winning a Super Bowl, or getting rid of Riley Moss and maybe not winning one,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep Riley Moss and win a Super Bowl. You're gonna get comp picks back for him. You've already got his replacement on the roster, anyways. So I'm not moving on from him. Not the way he's been playing. So yeah, I'm not moving on.
I agree. And one of the responses I gave to one of our 10,000 comments we got about potentially trading Riley Moss was the fact that if we win a Super Bowl, we're going to lose players anyway. We're going to lose them anyway. We definitely won't be able to afford them after we walk away with that Lombardi trophy come next February. That's just the way it's going to be. And when that's the case, man, you're going to have to make decisions. And I think that Riley Moss is going to be one of those decisions you would have to make regardless come the end of the season. Why not go out there, keep him on your roster, win the Super Bowl because he's that good? And then if you had to say goodbye to him because you're trying to pay everybody and everybody can't get paid, and Riley Moss is the guy that you have to walk away from, it's going to happen. It happens to every Super Bowl team. That's what we're doing. We're winning the Super Bowl. So let's go ahead and let's keep Riley Moss, even if we can't afford him next year, and even if it means walking away and just hoping for a good comp pick, as you were talking about, Jody.
And that's the thing. You're not going to lose him for nothing. You're going to
Yeah.
get a comp pick. I mean, it's not going to be of equal value, but
Or you're going to go out there and get a great player that's,
hopefully
that
in this
balances
hand,
that comp pick. So
you have a Super Bowl and a comp pick, and I'll take that any day over a couple twos or a two and a three or
and coming up just a little bit short because you
yep.
didn't have the cornerback. I agree, my friend. Paul's coming in. He's saying, I'm glad Mims is back. He's also saying Huff should blow up those crossers when Talanoa Hufanga is out there and playing in the scheme. I love that. Phil's just on board that we should just pay Moss and get it over. I think the question becomes, Phil, is that you have PS2, you have Jade Barron that you invested so much in, you have Jaleel McLaughlin
You're going to have to pay
that's
one of
been,
them next year.
and you have Riley Moss. It's like who who do you leave out? You can't pay all four cornerbacks, even though you'd love to pay all four of those guys. There's just no way to do it. So that's the question. Michael Ronquillo, keep Riley Moss because he has the right to play behind cornerback PS2.
The thing
And
with Moss too, if he continues to do what he's doing, someone is going to overpay for him and pay him like a number one cornerback,
yeah,
just like they did with John Franklin Myers. He got, in my opinion, way overpaid to the point that Denver just said, "Okay, good luck,
yeah,
man."
yeah, can't do it anymore. Yep. Don't get me wrong. I was very much in that camp for the longest time. There's something to be said when you have like two lockdown corners, and I think that's the potential that you have. But you're going to have to sacrifice if that's the case long term, especially as good as this team in. KAD is good, says Paul. He's a Chris Abrams drain fan. Speaking, we got to get to this list. We're already at an hour. Sertan, Moss, Jaquan McMillan, Jade Barron, Chris Abrams drain. Those are the five cornerbacks we have making it.
Yep.
Leaving out Reese Taylor, Brent Austin, um, yeah, Sean Fresh. I
Yeah,
mean,
that was probably the easiest group for me to pick.
yep. But it's funny though, not super deep there, my friend. We're talking about five deep,
And that's the thing.
plenty
Everyone
enough.
says trade Moss, get picks. Okay, so trade Moss. Now you're happy with your first three, but you're one cornerback going down from having a Reese Taylor or somebody playing for you. Do you want that?
Yeah, yeah. Have us a little all nervous if that's especially down the stretch or in the playoffs. All of a sudden, you're turning to Reese Taylor. being your guy that's going to show up and show out. Um, we would love to see him step up in that opportunity, but we'd be nervous watching it. That's for dang sure. Safety, man. Safety is one of those ones, man, that was kind of I don't know, ugly to put together. I mean, I guess you need to fill spots sometimes. Hufanga and Brandon Jones is the easy ones, but man, whether it be Devon Key or J.L. Skinner, those are the two other guys I have making it at the safety position. Neither one of those guys have shown up or shown out this training camp or this preseason, but they make the roster for me. They fill out the room. We got 4 safeties. Are you the same with me, my friend?
No, I think I'm actually going to go 5. I think the 4 you said, plus I think Miles Scott makes it, and I'm only saying that because I think Jonathan Cooper. Well, let me backtrack a little bit.
Oh, beep beep beep.
No, I think I'll just go 4. I think they can stash um, Miles Scott on the practice squad, so I'll go those 4.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at too, man. That leaves me, and I don't know if that leaves you, but that leaves me with 1 spot left open. Now, don't get me wrong. Will Lutz, we'll just take someone off the board, is our kicker. Crawshaw, he's going to be our punter. I think it's pretty obvious that Fraboni is going to get to be our long snapper. I don't know if he's asking for more money, and that's why, or they were hoping to get away cheap.
It is after last week's game.
Yeah, yeah. And from what I've understood in training camp, it's been pretty obvious, not just the game, because, yeah, the guy that they brought in, I can't even remember his name. Yeah, not what we've been hoping for or expecting. That leaves me 1 spot, and I don't know. Now I gotta expand it. Did we not talk about running backs? We didn't talk about running backs. Did you realize that?
No, I don't think we did.
Because I have Dobbins, Harvey, and Coleman. Dobbins, Harvey, Coleman, and Adam Prentice there. And that left
Same.
Jaleel McLaughlin out. So I have McLaughlin as a potential to make it. I have Frank Crum as a potential to make it. I have Little Jordan Humphrey as a potential that I could add. Or I have Drew Sanders as my outside potential guy that I could add. And since we went through this whole conversation, man, I'm just going to make it a quick wrap up because of the time we're at, man. I think if it had to be, man, I think I'd still turn to Little Jordan Humphrey. I think that's the direction I go. I think that's the guy that you get the most impact out of. And that pains me because, man, Jaleel McLaughlin has been that guy that we've been able to turn to from time to time and has a fantastic story. But that's the way I would go, man. That wraps up my 53.
Yeah, I think we were pretty much in agreement, other than one offensive lineman, maybe.
Yeah, man, that's insane, man, insane.
And mine was pretty close from the. I think I switched 3 guys from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
I had Sanders originally making it. Now I have Reed. I think I had Miles Scott making it. Now I have J.L. Skinner. And I have Jordan Jackson making it now. So
yeah.
Other than that, I mean, but we all knew this roster was 90% set when we came to camp anyway. So
honestly, it's funny you mentioned that because then I started thinking about that around draft time, and I'm like, ooh, boy, this is going to force some decisions if we keep all our draft picks and use them all. It did force some decisions. We had to make some tonight, man.
Can I do a rapid fire real quick in the chat?
Yeah,
can just put 2 names. 1 surprise cut, 1 surprise keep.
1 surprise cut I had him making it. Savion Jones would be my surprise cut then, if that would be the case. 1 surprise keep. Ooh, boy. Now, how about the posse's been talking about him. They were all over it. How about what if Cameron Ross ended up making it? Also a special teamer type of guy. can go out there, was back there, I'm going to go Cameron Ross, man. That's going to be my hot take there, man. How about you, man? Surprise
Savion
cut,
Jones for
surprise.
Savion Jones is for me
Okay.
surprise or surprise cut, I guess, and then surprise keep. I'll go Terry and York.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, another big name that's been hot. I would love to say I was going through that wide receiver room. I could have went Michael Bandy because I know that he's coming back from injury, but he's been with this team for so long. You know, we all love ourselves a little bit of Manjack and what he's been able to do. Maybe they're trying to stash him, but they get worried. I mean, but I was hanging out in that wide receiver room. Glenn Ashley came in earlier. He said, "Good evening, Keith and Jody and Judge. Really pumped to see us use Ross and Katzis heavily against the Vikings." He's excited about those two guys, man. I want to get, as you kind of did a rapid fire, who are you excited to watch in this upcoming game against the Vikings as we kind of wrap up the show? We did pretty much a 53-man roster show, man.
Both quarterbacks because I want to see where they go. If Sean Payton starts Stidham and he plays a half and it's even if it's just okay football, I've seen all I needed to. The fact I don't know how many starters are going to play or if they even do, but if starters do play and you give Stidham both games with starters and Sam Ellinger no games with the starters, I think that's all is pretty telling. So I want to know where they go and what they do there.
Yeah. Feels like, honestly, the way I'd like to do it is the way they used to do it sometimes, where they just like go back and forth. You guys get like one series and then another series, and then you keep the starters out there for both quarterbacks. I don't think that's what we're going to see, but like you said, man, I think it's going to be super telling who goes out there, who gets the run with the starters to begin with, who you're really trying to evaluate, and what decision you need to make. Because maybe for the first time, we're not talking about three quarterbacks on this roster for the Denver Broncos. Um, Man, just really quick, a guy that I guess I'm really excited to watch, or I shouldn't say excited to watch, but one that I just want to see. I'm going to go back to Mr. Irrelevant. I want to hit Mr. Red Murdoch. I think that Vance Joseph said that he was going to be kind of unleashed in this last game. I still don't think we've seen unleashed Red Murdoch. I know that he went out there leading tackler, but let's face it, that run game, a lot of those tackles were after multiple yards of pickup. So it's not like he was up there stuffing holes and getting guys in the backfield or anything like that. Did well in coverage, did well with the green dot, but I think he has another level that he could unleash, and I think he'll get some opportunity to go out there and get some run out there in this third game. A few more comments before we get out of here. Phil McLaughlin, great supporter. Pay Moss before he wins the Super Bowl, and we can save some money. Love the thought process. We've been ahead on a lot of contracts, Phil, and maybe we're a little bit behind, but maybe we could still get ahead on paying Riley Moss. Lil Jordan Humphreys, 6'4", 225. Evan Ingram, 6'3", 240. Yeah, there's been a lot of contemplation, but I've never seen Little Jordan actually make that jump over to that tight end position. Jonathan Cooper won't get suspended suspended until 2027 NFL season. He would have been suspended already by the NFL. I don't know if that's true, Michael. I mean, someone has the right offense anytime.
Well, I think I heard today that he has another hearing Friday, so I think that might be when you find something out.
Yep, you just got to wait for the process to go through.
Plus, if that's where are they at? Is it in Minnesota or is it Denver?
They're in Denver.
So I think that'll be telling as well. Does he go to the hearing and make it to the game, or I don't know how that plays out too. So
yeah, that's kind of
I don't know. I think you'll hear something.
Potentially Friday.
I can't see them putting it off for a whole year and then doing it, because then that's kicking the can down the road to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I'll just make this quick. The only time I remember them jumping in before the actual legal proceedings have actually played out was like Ray Rice because of the video footage. I think you got to let the legal process kind of play out, and then once that happens, you can end up suspending guys. But we're not in that position yet. I digress. One of the surprises from Paul: surprise cut Stiddy, surprise keep Dallin Bentley.
Is that a surprise cut to you if that happens, Stiddy?
A little bit. I would still say a little bit. I think you're leaning that way. That Stiddy's your number 2, and first and foremost, I'd love to say that Sam Ehlinger has just to get as good an opportunity walking into Friday's game, but I think it's a lean Stidham type of situation right now, and I think it's a little bit uphill for Sam. So I think it would be a surprise. Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of I think it still would be a surprise for me. As much as I think it's time for him to go, I still think it would be a surprise.
Yeah. I think this is a great comment. Paul says, Ronk is wise. His lawyer is kicking the can down the road on purpose. And that's what we've seen sometimes. That's what we've seen. All right. That's why it's a surprise, says Paul. Man, it's not a surprise. We went overtime. We got the full 53-man roster. We talked a little bit of Riley Moss trade. We talked about BO NIX not starting this game and a lot of questions around QB2. And, man, I can't believe it, man. We're going to be wrapping up a final preseason game this Friday. We're going to be taking care of the 53-man roster this Sunday. And, Jody, then we're going to be back on Monday talking about all of it, man. It's been a fantastic episode. We got to get some final thoughts in, though. If any of you have some final thoughts, please get them into the comments. We'll get to those as well. But I'll turn to Jody, man, before we get on out of here at not too bad, man. We're going to be out of here about an hour and 15 minutes.
I'll keep it short. Just hope everyone gets out of Friday healthy. Hopefully it's a better performance than last Friday, and I don't envy some of these coaches with these last 4 or 5 guys because there's going to be some real tough choices. So
I agree, man. You know, sometimes we go through this exercise. We've been doing this for multiple years, Jody. These will be my final thought. We went through this multiple years trying to figure out a 53-man roster, and for this year, it does kind of feel a little bit more like you're trying to make some tough decisions. There's some great players that we're going to potentially lose or leave exposed to being lost to the Denver Broncos. Comparatively to years in the past where you were just trying to figure out who the best 53 were. and then whatever was left was whatever was left, man. What a fantastic roster. Can't wait for this team to come together. But you're right, man. So there's going to be some tough conversations, and we hope all the best to all those players who don't make this team. Hopefully we can have you back on the practice squad, and you're contributing for the Denver Broncos. But, yeah, absolutely, Paul, we're absolutely stacked, man. Knock on wood. I don't know. I got some sheetrock. I'll get the wood here in just a second. That's Ronk coming in talking about when you were talking about making sure that we're all healthy, man. Hopefully we all come out healthy, man. Hope you're all healthy. Appreciate, man. I threw it up there just a second ago. Appreciate all the likes and subscriptions that we've gotten from y'all. Appreciate all the follows and shares. Continue that up. We appreciate you all so very much, man. Been growing big. 50 new subscribers in the last week. We've been posting a ton. You guys have been loving it, and we appreciate you a ton. It's all about you, and we appreciate every moment that you come in here talking Denver Broncos football with us. We'll be back on Monday. Enjoy the football game on Friday, but we got to get out of here. We do it like we always do here on the Denver Bronco Roundup. Boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and, of course, Denver Broncos in your heart. Until next episode, we're out of here. Mile high salute. Have a good weekend, everybody.